It is 11:28 a.m. Wednesday, August 26, 2026. And I'm eating breakfast. I did a sleep stream last night, and I guess I started it late. I guess the thing. If I started earlier, maybe that would be better. It seems like the later I start it, the worse turnout it is for people showing up. Which is kind of weird to me, but anyway.
Hey, I've got some upcoming shows.
Yeah, where are they?
Well, I'm only doing 5 more shows for the rest of the year, so please pull up and see a baby girl. Next month, I will be in Waterloo, New York, at the Del Lago Resort and Casino.
Fancy.
Then I'll be in Bittendorf, Iowa, at the Isle Casino.
Bittendorf.
Norman, Oklahoma, at the Riverwind Casino.
Riverwind, the guy. I thought it was Riverwind.
It is Riverwind.
It is. Riverwind.
And then we're going to be in Grant, Oklahoma, at the Choctaw Casino, Stage 271. And then I'll be in Larchwood, Iowa, at the Grand Falls Casino Resort Event Center.
If you have large wood, pull up and see baby girl at eatmytrash.com.
Great job, Tima. Get your tickets at eatmytrash.com. Pull up, and I'll see you there.
Dude, my skin is peeling so bad I just clapped and skin flew everywhere. Montpellier.
You need lotion.
Yeah, and I think I really do need magnesium. Because I get the Charlie horses about once a week, then shedding. So if you spray magnesium on you, please let me know the kind. I really need to know.
Well,
I just take a vitamin.
I was about to say, you probably need a spray and a oral.
The Korean skincare brand everyone is talking about. Our listeners get 20% off their entire order by using code VIRAL at guskin.com/viral. The older I get, I realize my skin is looking a little more dull, looking a little more tired, just a little less vibrant. That's exactly why I started using GU. And honestly, I'm obsessed. It's a Korean skincare brand that's taken over the internet because of the incredible before and after results people are seeing. GU helps your skin look healthier, smoother, brighter, firmer, and more youthful without requiring some complicated routine. These are not your ordinary toner pads. Think of them as an entire Korean skincare routine packed into a single swipe. GU is your shorthand, radiant, glassy skin, designed for brightening, hydrating, soothing, and anti-aging all in one. Every pad contains powerhouse ingredients like Neomucin for hydration and glow, peptides to support firmer-looking skin, whatever the hell this last word is, niacinamide to help visibly brighten an even skin tone. I've noticed my skin being brighter and smoother.
Hey, Barnacles.
than
Oh,
ever.
no.
I love the cool feeling on the
What are you
pads.
sick
It makes
with?
your face just feel good. If you are trying
What do you, like a cold kind of thing?
The people who perform at the highest level for the longest time have built powerful personal systems that give them an edge over others.
One of the things about being a divorced...
These are the specific structures they've built for how they pace themselves, generate ideas, capture what matters, and recover when things go sideways. This video is about 9 of those systems from the likes of Nobel laureates, legendary investors,
So you have
and
like
world champions. Every one of them
some
is something
sort
you
of
can
like a
actually
runny
run
nose,
in
I
your own
guess.
life. Let's get into it. Part 1. System pace. The first 2 are about how you move through time. Most people think consistency is a willpower problem. These 2 treat it as a design problem, and both of them fix it with a rule that sounds like the opposite of what you'd expect. System 1. The 20-mile march. This one comes from Jim Collins, and it's the answer to, how do I stay consistent without burning out? The generic version you already know is do a little every day, never miss. A daily minimum.
Okay,
A
bye.
streak you
Hope you feel
protect.
better.
And that's fine as far as it goes. But Collins studied companies and people who thrived through chaos, and he found they did something extra that almost nobody copies. They set a floor and a ceiling. On a bad day, you still hit the minimum. And on a great day, when you've got energy and everything's clicking, you deliberately stop at the same line anyway. He tells it through two teams racing to the South Pole in 1911. One marched approximately 20 miles a day, in blizzards and in perfect weather, same distance either way. The other sprinted whenever conditions were good and collapsed in their tents when they weren't. The steady team won, and the other team didn't make it back. So the tweak here is the ceiling, because consistency doesn't usually die on your worst day. It dies on your best one when you overshoot so hard that the next 3 days are wreckage. So here's how you run it. Step 1, pick one thing that actually matters, like words written or sales calls made. Step 2, set a floor you can hit even on a terrible day. Step 3, and this is the part people skip, set a ceiling you will not cross on a great day. Step 4, live inside that band every single day, especially the ones. Remember, the ceiling protects tomorrow from today. What if the reason your streaks keep collapsing is your good days, not your bad ones? System 2, the fake commute. This next one is from Sarah Blakely, who built Spanx into $1 billion company, and it fixes a problem you probably blame yourself for. You feel like you've run out of ideas. The generic advice is make time to think, which everyone pictures as sitting still and meditating. Blakely does the opposite. She adds movement on purpose. Because she lives close to her office, she wakes up an hour early and drives around Atlanta with no destination at all. She calls it her fake commute, and she said plainly that she's figured out where her best thinking happens, and it's in the car. The name Spanx actually came to her on one of those drives.
I never thought of a location to actually, okay, have a good snack. I never thought of, like, where do I think my best? Where do I think?
Ideas rarely show up on command when you're staring at the problem. They show up when your body is lightly busy and your mind is off the leash, in the shower or behind the wheel. And here's the
Where do I do my best thinking?
The last few years. A lot of people deleted their
I almost
daily
never
moments
think.
post-COVID. What they actually did
That's
was
kind of
delete
my
the one
problem.
daily window where their mind used to wander, and now they think they're just not creative anymore. Here's how to steal it. Step 1, find where your mind already drifts. The car, a walk, the shower. Step 2, protect a fixed window there, first thing, with no phone and no podcast, and nowhere to be. Step 3, keep it undirected. No problem to solve, no agenda. Step 4, keep a way to catch the idea
Okay, I
when
think the
it lands.
bananas are
So pull over
just
or
about
open a
mashed.
note.
Yeah.
Remember, you don't need more time at the desk. You need the moving window you accidentally threw away. Where does your mind actually go when you finally let it off the leash? Part 2, systems for capture. The first 2 were about how you move through time. These next 4 are about capture, the signal from yourself about which decision you have already made. The signal inside your own goal list that tells you what to stop. The questions you carry that turn everything you already know into targeted progress. And the daily record of who you are actually becoming that good intentions alone will never produce. Each
Okay.
one picks up something most people walk past and turns it into something you can use. System 3, the regret minimization framework. This one is from Jeff Bezos, who built Amazon into one of the most valuable companies in history. And it is for the decision you have been putting off for months. The generic version of big decision advice is some version of follow your gut or weigh the pros and cons. But neither actually feels foolproof when the stakes feel real. Bezos has a different frame. He calls it the regret minimization framework. When he's facing a decision that matters, he projects himself to the age of 80, sitting in a chair looking back at his life, and asks one question. Will I regret not doing this? Not will this work? Not is this risky? Just. In 1994, Bezos was 30 years old on a clear upward track at a hedge fund in New York and was offered a chance to get in early on the internet. He agonized over leaving. So he ran the framework. He imagined himself at 80. He knew he would not regret trying and failing. He knew with certainty he would regret never knowing. He told his boss. His boss suggested he take 48 hours. Bezos said he did not need them. He and his wife got in a car and drove to Seattle. She drove so he could type the Amazon business plan on his laptop in the passenger seat. The tweak here is the anchor, because the question, what do I want right now, and the question, what will my 80-year-old self wish I had done, often have completely different answers. The anchor moves the decision out of the noise of today and into the clarity of retrospect. Here is how to run it. Step 1, name the decision you keep deferring, the one you talk yourself out of every few months. Step 2, imagine yourself at 80, looking back at this exact moment. Step 3, ask only, will I regret not doing this? Not whether it will succeed. That is unknowable, just the regret question. Step 4, trust the answer your 80-year-old self gives, not the one your anxious present self keeps revising. So remember, the question is not whether it will work. It is whether you will wish you had tried. What is the decision your 80-year-old self has already made? System 4, the 25/5 rule. This one is from Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, and it is about why your priority list is probably your biggest problem. The generic version of focus advice is know your priorities. The problem is that most people's priority lists have 20 things on them, and they bounce between all of them, treating items 6 through 20 as a sensible backup plan. Buffett once sat down with his personal pilot to help him think through his career. He asked Flint to write down his top 25 goals. Flint wrote them down. Then Buffett told him to circle his top 5. Flint circled 5. Then Buffett asked what he planned to do with the other. Flint said he would work on them when time allowed. Buffett stopped him and asked him to drop them completely. The bottom 20 were not Flint's secondary priorities. They were his avoid at all costs list. The tweak is in how you read the bottom 20, because the things just outside your top 5 are not harmless. They are interesting enough to say yes to, important feeling enough to justify the time, and close enough to your real work that they wear the disguise of productivity. A clear distraction you can spot and ignore. A 10th priority item, dressed as a priority, is the one that actually costs you. Here is how to run it. Step 1, write down 25 things you want to accomplish, career or personal, anything real. Step 2, circle the top 5. Step 3, look at the remaining 20 and treat them not as a queue, but as a list of things to actively avoid. Step 4, every time something from the top 20 comes calling, treat it the way you would treat an obvious distraction, because that is exactly what it is. So remember, your second-tier priorities are not a backup plan. They are the trap. What is on your bottom 20 that you have been quietly treating as a priority? System 5, the 12 problems. This one's from the physicist Richard Feynman, and it's one of the most powerful curiosity systems. We have all grown up hearing, stay curious, keep learning. It sounds nice, but does almost nothing, because open-ended curiosity has no target. Feynman kept a fixed list of a dozen problems he genuinely couldn't solve, and he held them in the back of his mind all the time. Then every time he learned some new trick or read something new, he'd test it against all 12. Every so often, one of them would crack, and to everyone watching it looked like genius. So, the tweak is the list itself, and the fact that it's fixed. Because a standing set of 12 questions turns random input into targeted progress. Instead of learning things that evaporate because they point nowhere, everything new gets checked against what you actually care about. You're not smarter than the next person. You're just carrying your questions around so you notice the answer when it walks past. Here's how to build it. Step 1. Write down 12 questions you honestly can't answer yet. Real ones, not to-do items. Step 2. Keep the list somewhere you'll actually see it. Step 3. Whenever you learn something new, ask, does this help any of the 12? Step 4. Revisit the list and refine it as your real questions change. Feynman himself described a moment that shows exactly how this works. He was sitting in a Cornell cafeteria after the war, in a pretty bad mental slump, when a student tossed a plate in the air. He watched it wobble and got curious about the spin ratio, just for fun. He worked out the physics that afternoon. That piece of play connected to questions he'd been carrying for years about quantum mechanics. He later said that kind of thinking was what eventually led to his Nobel Prize in physics. He wasn't chasing a breakthrough, he was just checking a wobbling plate against questions he'd been carrying for a long time. So remember, curiosity with a target beats curiosity in general. If you had to write down 12 real questions right now, do you even know what they are? System 6, the 13 virtues. This one is from Benjamin Franklin, and it is the oldest system on this list by about 250 years. It is worth noting because it still works. A common conception of self-improvement is be better, which is not a system. It is a wish. Franklin, at 20 years old, decided that was not good enough. He made a list of 13 qualities he genuinely wanted to build. Things like temperance, order, resolution, and frugality. He made a small book with a page for each one, ruled into a grid of days. Each week, he gave one virtue his full, concentrated attention. When he slipped up against that virtue on a given day, he marked a black dot. The goal was to go through the whole week clean. Then he moved to the next virtue. He cycled through all 13 roughly 4 times a year. He ran this system for most of his adult life. He described it in his autobiography as one of the most useful projects he ever undertook. And he was a man who also invented bifocals, the lightning rod, and helped the Declaration of Independence. He also admitted he never achieved perfection on any virtue. He wrote that he was surprised to find himself fuller of faults than he had imagined, but had the satisfaction of watching them diminish. The tweak is in the rotation, because most people try to improve everything at once, which means nothing actually gets attention. Franklin's system focuses on one quality for a full week, then releases it, moves on. While he was focused on order, frugality might slip. That was fine. Frugality had its own week coming. The rotation is what made the system sustainable for decades instead of collapsing after a month. Here is how to run it. Step 1. Write down 3 to 5 qualities you genuinely want to build. Not generic virtues, but the specific ones that keep failing you in real situations. Step 2. Make a simple grid, 1 quality per row, days of the week across the top. Step 3. Each week focus on one, and when you slip on a given day, mark it honestly. Step 4. At the end of the week, look at the pattern. Same day, same trigger. Step 5. Move to the next quality and start again. So remember, be better is a wish. A grid with black dots in it is a system. If you tracked one quality you want to build this week, not wished for,
Thank
but
you for
actually
liking,
tracked,
commenting,
what
and
would Friday's
subscribing.
grid
Especially
look
thank you for commenting
Part 3,
because it gives me something to
systems
work
for
with.
performance. The last 3 are all about
I'm not sure
how you test before it counts, how you
which stream I'm doing next, but I'll probably do a sleep stream. So I'll see your comments in the next stream. Thank you for joining. Bye.